Jessica Mulroney just dropped a bombshell denial that has publishers and Meghan Markle reeling in completely different ways. When directly confronted about writing a tell-all memoir exposing her former best friend's royal secrets, Jessica fired back with an emphatic absolutely not and declared she would never betray Meghan's trust. But here's the twist that nobody saw coming. Industry insiders are whispering that Jessica's very public rejection is actually the most calculated move she could have made. Sources close to the publishing world claim this denial isn't genuine at all. Instead, they're calling it a masterclass in negotiation strategy designed to do one thing and one thing only: drive those already staggering seven-figure offers even higher. Think about it. What happens when you tell someone they can't have something they desperately want? They want it even more, and they're willing to pay whatever it takes to get it. Multiple publishing houses were already engaged in a fierce bidding war for Jessica's story, with offers reportedly reaching up to 7 figures. But according to publishing insiders, Jessica's denial has had the opposite effect of what you'd expect. Instead of publishers backing away, they're doubling down with even more aggressive offers. One source revealed that Jessica's absolutely not response has been interpreted as, "Make me an offer I can't refuse" in publishing circles. Meanwhile, Meghan Markle is allegedly watching this entire situation unfold with absolute horror. Friends close to the Duchess claim she's been making emergency phone calls to her legal team, her hands visibly trembling as she scrolls through the latest reports. One California-based insider described Meghan's reaction as her worst nightmare coming to life, especially because she knows exactly what secrets Jessica could potentially spill. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Sources suggest that Jessica's denial might actually be increasing Meghan's panic rather than calming it. Because if Jessica is truly playing a strategic game to maximize her payday, it means she's seriously considering putting pen to paper. And the longer this bidding war continues, the more valuable her story becomes, and the more desperate publishers get to secure the rights to what they're calling the royal tell-all of the decade. Publishing industry veterans are calling Jessica Mulroney's denial one of the most transparent negotiation moves they've seen in years. When approached by the Daily Mail about the explosive memoir rumors, Jessica's swift absolutely not response wasn't the conversation ender most people assumed it would be. Instead, insiders claim it was the opening move in what could become the most lucrative celebrity tell-all deal in recent memory. A senior publishing executive, speaking anonymously, revealed the strategy behind Jessica's public stance. They explained that in the world of celebrity memoirs, an immediate yes to writing a book actually devalues the project. Publishers expect celebrities to play hard to get, especially when they're sitting on secrets as explosive as Jessica's alleged royal insider knowledge. The executive noted that Jessica's denial has created exactly the kind of scarcity that drives bidding wars through the roof. According to industry sources, Jessica's team has been quietly gauging interest from major publishing houses for months, well before her public denial ever happened. The absolutely not statement reportedly came only after preliminary offers had already been made, suggesting this entire scenario was orchestrated to create maximum buzz and competition among publishers. One insider claimed that Jessica's representatives have been using her denial as leverage, essentially telling publishers that they need to make offers so compelling that Jessica would be foolish to refuse them. The psychology behind this strategy is brilliant, according to publishing analysts. By publicly stating she would never write about Meghan, Jessica has positioned herself as someone with integrity and loyalty. This makes her story even more valuable because readers will believe they're getting authentic, reluctant revelations from someone who genuinely didn't want to tell these secrets. It's the difference between a vindictive ex-friend's revenge tale and what appears to be a principled person finally deciding to set the record straight. But perhaps most telling of all, sources claim that Jessica's denial has actually increased the frequency of publisher inquiries rather than stopping them. Multiple publishing houses are reportedly interpreting her public stance as a negotiating position rather than a final answer. One industry insider revealed that offers have continued pouring in since her denial, with some publishers viewing her reluctance as proof that her story is worth whatever astronomical figure it takes to convince her to change her mind. The publishing world has gone into absolute overdrive since Jessica's denial, and the numbers being thrown around are nothing short of staggering. Despite her emphatic absolutely not response, sources reveal that at least 4 major publishing houses are still aggressively pursuing Jessica's story, with offers that have reportedly climbed even higher since her public rejection. One industry insider described the current bidding environment as unprecedented and unlike anything we've seen for a celebrity memoir in years. According to publishing sources, the initial 7-figure offers that were circulating before Jessica's denial have now escalated into what one executive called stupid money territory. Multiple publishers are allegedly willing to go above and beyond their typical advanced structures because they recognize the commercial goldmine that Jessica's story represents. One source claimed that publishers view this as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to secure what could be the most talked-about royal tell-all since Andrew Morton's Diana revelations. The competitive atmosphere has become so intense that publishers are reportedly offering more than just massive advance payments. Sources suggest that Jessica is being presented with comprehensive packages that include international publishing rights, multimedia deals, and even potential documentary tie-ins. One publishing executive revealed that the current offers include marketing budgets that rival those typically reserved for best-selling authors with established track records, not first-time memoir writers. What's driving this publisher frenzy is the undeniable commercial appeal of Jessica's unique position. Industry analysts point out that Jessica isn't just another royal insider or former friend. She was Meghan's closest confidant during the most pivotal period of her life, witnessing everything from the early Harry courtship through the royal wedding and beyond. Publishers recognize that readers are absolutely desperate for this perspective, especially given all the unanswered questions surrounding Meghan's royal exit and ongoing family drama. But perhaps most revealing is how publishers are reportedly interpreting Jessica's continued silence since her initial denial. Rather than viewing her lack of further comment as disinterest, sources claim publishers are taking it as a sign that negotiations are still very much alive. One insider suggested that Jessica's team is deliberately maintaining radio silence while they evaluate which publisher is willing to make the most compelling offer, both financially and in terms of creative control over her narrative. While Jessica plays her strategic denial game, sources close to Meghan Markle paint a picture of absolute chaos unfolding behind the scenes in Montecito. Despite Jessica's public "absolutely not" statement, insiders claim Meghan is far from reassured and is treating this situation as an active threat to everything she's worked to build since leaving royal life. Friends describe her current state as borderline frantic, with one California-based source revealing that Meghan has called Jessica's potential memoir her worst nightmare come to life. The alleged panic reportedly began the moment the first reports about publisher interest in Jessica's story surfaced, well before Jessica's denial even happened. Sources claim Meghan immediately recognized that Jessica's public rejection might not be genuine, given their shared history and Jessica's intimate knowledge of how the entertainment industry operates. One insider suggested that Meghan knows Jessica well enough to recognize a negotiation tactic when she sees one, which is precisely why the denial hasn't provided any comfort. According to multiple sources, Meghan's response has been swift and comprehensive. She's reportedly been making emergency phone calls to her legal team, exploring every possible avenue to prevent any potential memoir from seeing the light of day. One source claimed that Meghan was visibly shaken, her hands trembling as she scrolled through the latest reports about the publishing interest. Friends describe her as unable to focus on anything else, constantly refreshing news sites and social media for any updates about Jessica's intentions. The legal meetings have allegedly been intense and frequent, with Meghan's team reportedly exploring whether any non-disclosure agreements from their friendship days could be enforced. However, sources suggest that Jessica's position as a private citizen who was never officially connected to the royal household makes legal intervention extremely challenging. One insider revealed that Meghan's legal team has essentially told her that if Jessica decides to write a book, there's likely very little they can do to stop it from being published. Perhaps most telling is how this situation has allegedly affected Meghan's daily routine and mental state. Sources claim she's been having difficulty sleeping, constantly worried about what Jessica might reveal and how it could impact her carefully curated public image. One friend described Meghan as living in constant fear that Jessica will eventually accept one of these massive publisher offers, regardless of her current public stance. The source added that Meghan keeps saying she feels like she's waiting for the other shoe to drop, never knowing when Jessica might change her mind about staying silent. The most terrifying aspect of this entire situation for Meghan isn't just that Jessica might eventually write a book, it's what Jessica allegedly has in her possession to back up whatever claims she might make. Industry sources and former mutual friends suggest that Jessica Mulroney isn't just relying on memories and hearsay. She's reportedly been keeping what insiders dramatically call the receipts throughout their entire friendship, creating a potential treasure trove of evidence that publishers are salivating over. According to sources close to their former friendship circle, Jessica was meticulous about documenting her experiences, particularly during the height of Meghan's royal transition. One insider claimed that Jessica has kept the evidence and possesses documentation that could provide unprecedented insight into what really happened behind palace doors. The source added ominously that no one had a voice for her and helped her to get the truth out at the time, suggesting Jessica feels she has her own side of various stories that have never been properly told. The nature of these alleged receipts is what has publishers so excited and Meghan so reportedly terrified. Sources suggest that Jessica's documentation includes everything from private text message exchanges to behind-the-scenes photos from key moments in Meghan's royal journey. One publishing insider revealed that preliminary discussions about Jessica's potential memoir have focused heavily on her unique access during crucial periods, including the engagement announcement. wedding planning, and the early days of Meghan's marriage to Prince Harry. But perhaps most explosive is what sources claim Jessica witnessed and potentially documented about the internal royal family dynamics. Unlike other royal insiders who might have observed from a professional distance, Jessica was allegedly present during private family moments and personal conversations. One source suggested that Jessica's perspective could provide readers with an intimate look at how Meghan navigated the challenges of royal life, including her relationships with various family members and palace staff. The timing of Jessica's documentation is particularly significant, according to industry analysts. She was reportedly closest to Meghan during the most controversial and dramatic period of the Duchess's royal experience. This means Jessica potentially has first-hand knowledge and evidence related to some of the most debated royal stories of recent years. Publishers recognize that Jessica's receipts could either corroborate or contradict many of the narratives that have already been presented to the public, making her perspective invaluable regardless of which side of various controversies it supports. Of all the potential bombshells Jessica could drop in a tell-all memoir, none has publishers more excited or Meghan more allegedly terrified than what really happened during the infamous Princess Charlotte bridesmaid dress fitting incident. This single event from 2018 has become one of the most disputed and controversial moments in recent royal history, with conflicting versions of the story creating years of speculation and debate. Jessica Mulroney was not just a witness to these events. She was allegedly right in the middle of them, and sources claim she's ready to set the record straight once and for all. The official narrative that emerged in various media reports painted a picture of tension between Meghan and Catherine over the bridesmaid dress fittings, with some sources claiming tears were shed and harsh words were exchanged. However, Jessica's unique position as both Meghan's closest friend and the mother of one of the child bridesmaids gave her an unprecedented view of what actually transpired during those crucial pre-wedding moments. Publishing insiders suggest that Jessica's account could either vindicate Meghan completely or reveal details that make the situation far more complicated than anyone previously understood. According to sources familiar with Jessica's potential revelations, her version of the Princess Charlotte incident includes specific details about who was present during the fitting sessions, what was actually said between the adults, and how the children reacted to the adult tension around them. One insider claimed that Jessica allegedly wants to address what she calls the treatment of Princess Charlotte during the bridesmaid dress fitting, suggesting that her account might focus on protecting the children involved rather than taking sides in the adult drama. The commercial value of Jessica's Princess Charlotte revelations cannot be overstated from a publishing perspective. This single incident has generated countless headlines, royal documentaries, and endless speculation among royal watchers worldwide. Publishers recognize that Jessica's first-hand account could either put this controversy to rest forever or reignite it with even more explosive details. Either outcome represents a massive commercial opportunity, which is why sources claim this particular aspect of Jessica's story is driving much of the seven-figure bidding war. What makes Jessica's potential Princess Charlotte revelations even more compelling is the personal cost she might face for sharing them. Unlike other royal controversies that primarily involve adults who chose public life, this incident involves young children who had no say in their participation. Sources suggest that Jessica's decision to potentially address this topic publicly demonstrates just how strongly she feels about setting the record straight, regardless of the personal and professional consequences she might face. But perhaps most intriguingly, publishing sources claim that Jessica's version of the Princess Charlotte incident might not align with either of the narratives that have previously been reported. Instead, her account allegedly presents a third perspective that could change how the public views this entire controversy. One insider suggested that Jessica's revelations might show that the real story is far more nuanced than the simple conflict between Meghan and Catherine that has been portrayed in various media accounts, potentially exposing how palace communication strategies shaped public perception of these private family moments. Jessica Mulroney's potential memoir represents something that royal watchers have been craving for years: genuine behind-the-scenes access to the inner workings of the British royal family during one of its most turbulent periods. Unlike other royal tell-alls that rely on second-hand information or distant observations, Jessica was allegedly present for intimate conversations, private family moments, and high-level strategic discussions that shaped Meghan's entire royal experience. Publishers are reportedly salivating over what one industry insider described as unprecedented access to the royal machine at its most vulnerable moment. Sources claim that Jessica's unique position gave her front-row seats to witness how the palace really operates when the cameras aren't rolling. She allegedly observed firsthand how royal communication strategies are developed, how family conflicts are managed internally, and how decisions that affect millions of people worldwide are actually made behind closed doors. One publishing executive revealed that preliminary discussions about Jessica's potential book have focused heavily on her ability to expose the real personalities behind the public facades, suggesting readers could finally learn what senior royals are actually like in private settings. The timing of Jessica's access makes her perspective particularly explosive from a historical standpoint. She was reportedly closest to Meghan during the period when the royal family was grappling with how to modernize their image while maintaining centuries-old traditions. Jessica allegedly witnessed internal debates about everything from Meghan's public engagements to her fashion choices to her role within the broader royal hierarchy. Sources suggest that her potential revelations could expose just how much conflict existed behind the scenes as the institution struggled to adapt to having an American actress in their ranks. But perhaps most commercially valuable is what Jessica allegedly knows about the decision-making process that ultimately led to Meghan and Harry's departure from royal duties. Unlike the sanitized version of events that emerged through official statements and carefully managed interviews, Jessica reportedly has insider knowledge about the private conversations, family confrontations, and strategic calculations that preceded the couple's dramatic exit. Publishing sources claim this aspect of her story alone could justify the massive advance payments being discussed, as it represents the missing piece of one of the biggest royal stories in modern history. Jessica's alleged palace insights extend beyond just Meghan's experience, to include observations about other senior royals and their relationships with each other. Sources suggest she witnessed interactions between Prince William and Prince Harry during their estrangement, observed how Prince Charles navigated the challenges of having Meghan in the family, and potentially saw how Queen Elizabeth herself reacted to various controversies behind closed doors. One insider claimed that Jessica's perspective could provide readers with the most authentic look at royal family dynamics since Princess Diana's era. The institutional knowledge Jessica allegedly possesses makes her story particularly threatening to the royal family's carefully maintained public image. She reportedly understands how palace machinery works to protect certain narratives while suppressing others, having witnessed these processes from the inside during some of the most challenging moments in recent royal history. Publishers recognize that Jessica's revelations could fundamentally change how the public views not just Meghan's royal experience, but the entire institution's approach to managing modern challenges while preserving ancient traditions. To understand why publishers are willing to throw millions at Jessica Mulroney, and why Meghan is allegedly in full panic mode, you have to grasp just how deep and intimate their friendship truly was during the most pivotal moments of Meghan's transformation from cable television actress to global royal icon. Jessica wasn't just another Hollywood friend or casual acquaintance. She was what sources describe as Meghan's closest confidant and keeper of secrets, the person who knew absolutely everything about Meghan's journey from their first meeting through the fairy tale wedding and beyond. Their friendship began years before Prince Harry entered the picture, when Meghan was still grinding it out on cable television and Jessica was establishing herself as one of Canada's premier fashion stylists. Sources claim this pre-royal connection gave Jessica unprecedented insight into who Meghan really was before the palace machinery took over her public image. One former mutual friend revealed that Jessica knew the real Meghan in ways that even some family members didn't, having witnessed her struggles, ambitions, and personal relationships during the years when she was still figuring out her place in the world. But it was Jessica's role during the Prince Harry courtship that truly cemented her position as the ultimate royal insider. Sources suggest that Meghan confided absolutely everything to Jessica during those crucial early months of dating Harry, sharing details about their private conversations, her concerns about royal life, and her strategies for navigating the complex world she was entering. One insider claimed that Jessica was literally the first friend the Duchess called whenever something significant happened in her relationship with Harry, making her privy to intimate details that never made it into any official royal communications. The depth of their connection during the engagement period allegedly gave Jessica access to information that could reshape how the public understands Meghan's royal transition. Sources claim Jessica was present for phone calls with royal family members, participated in discussions about wedding planning protocols, and witnessed Meghan's private reactions to various palace decisions and media coverage. This level of access means Jessica potentially has insider knowledge about how Meghan really felt about joining the royal family, what her genuine concerns were, and how she processed the enormous pressure of becoming a global figure overnight. Perhaps most significantly, Jessica's friendship with Meghan allegedly continued throughout the most controversial period of her royal tenure. While other friends and advisors came and went, Jessica maintained her position as Meghan's closest confidant during the months leading up to the decision to step back from royal duties. Sources suggest that Jessica was privy to the private conversations and strategic planning that preceded Meghan and Harry's bombshell announcement, potentially making her one of the few people who truly understands the real reasons behind their departure from royal life. The commercial value of this friendship from a publishing perspective cannot be overstated. Jessica allegedly witnessed Meghan's evolution from ambitious actress to struggling royal to global activist, providing her with a complete narrative arc that publishers recognize as pure gold. One industry insider revealed that Jessica's story represents the ultimate insider's guide to one of the most fascinating transformations in modern celebrity culture, combining royal intrigue with Hollywood drama in a way that could appeal to multiple audience segments simultaneously. The spectacular implosion of Meghan and Jessica's friendship in 2020 wasn't just the end of a personal relationship, It was allegedly the moment when years of accumulated tensions, unspoken grievances, and conflicting loyalties finally exploded into public view. What started as Jessica's social media controversy with lifestyle blogger Sasha Exeter over white privilege accusations quickly spiraled into something far more devastating, permanently severing one of the most significant friendships in Meghan's adult life. Sources now claim that the fallout from this incident has left Jessica with lingering resentment that could fuel the most explosive royal tell-all in recent memory. The initial controversy seemed straightforward enough on the surface. Jessica had posted about supporting Black Lives Matter, and Sasha Exeter called her out for what she perceived as performative activism given Jessica's previous behavior. But sources close to both women suggest that the real drama unfolded behind the scenes, when Jessica allegedly expected Meghan to publicly defend her during the social media storm. According to insiders, Jessica felt abandoned when Meghan chose to distance herself rather than risk her own carefully crafted image as a social justice advocate by supporting her embattled friend. The silence from Meghan during Jessica's public humiliation allegedly cut deeper than anyone realized at the time. Sources claim that Jessica had supported Meghan through countless controversies, media attacks, and personal challenges, always standing loyally by her side regardless of the personal cost. When Jessica found herself in the crosshairs of cancel culture, she reportedly expected that same unwavering support in return. Instead, she got radio silence from Montecito, which sources describe as the ultimate betrayal in Jessica's mind. But the resentment allegedly goes far deeper than just the 2020 incident itself. Sources suggest that Jessica had been growing increasingly frustrated with how their friendship had changed since Meghan's marriage to Prince Harry. One former mutual friend claimed that Jessica felt like she had become disposable once Meghan achieved her royal status, useful for behind-the-scenes support but no longer worthy of public acknowledgement. The source revealed that Jessica allegedly felt used, having invested years in supporting Meghan's ambitions only to be discarded when she became inconvenient. The professional implications of their friendship's collapse have reportedly added another layer to Jessica's alleged resentment. Sources claim that Jessica's association with Meghan had opened doors in her styling career, but the dramatic end of their relationship and the subsequent controversy cost her several high-profile clients and opportunities. One industry insider suggested that Jessica lost significant business because of her connection to Meghan, first benefiting from the association and then suffering when it all went wrong. Perhaps most tellingly, sources claim that Jessica somewhat regrets their long friendship and now views the entire relationship as a dark cloud over her life. This alleged regret isn't just about how things ended, but about the years of emotional investment, professional sacrifices, and personal loyalty that she feels were never properly appreciated or reciprocated. Publishing insiders suggest that this combination of hurt, resentment, and regret creates the perfect psychological conditions for someone to finally decide that their silence is no longer worth maintaining, especially when millions of dollars are being offered to break it. The timing of the current publisher interest is particularly significant, given where Jessica allegedly is in her emotional journey since the friendship ended. Sources suggest that enough time has passed for her to process the betrayal and reach a place where sharing her side of the story feels justified rather than vindictive. One insider claimed that Jessica has moved from hurt and anger to a more calculated assessment of what her silence has cost her versus what breaking it might provide, both financially and emotionally. As this entire drama continues to unfold, the most fascinating question isn't whether Jessica Mulroney will eventually write her tell-all memoir. It's whether her public denial is genuine or if she's orchestrating the most sophisticated publishing negotiation in recent celebrity history. Industry veterans suggest that what we're witnessing is a masterclass in leverage, with Jessica potentially holding all the cards while Meghan can do nothing but watch helplessly from the sidelines. The stakes couldn't be higher for everyone involved, and sources claim that Jessica knows exactly how much power she currently holds. The publishing world is reportedly treating Jessica's denial as nothing more than an opening negotiation position, and the numbers being discussed have allegedly continued climbing even after her emphatic "absolutely not" statement. One industry executive revealed that Jessica's team has been quietly conducting what they call hypothetical discussions with multiple publishers, exploring exactly what kind of offer it would take to change her mind. These conversations are allegedly happening despite her public stance, suggesting that her denial might be more flexible than it initially appeared. But the real genius of Jessica's alleged strategy lies in how she's positioned herself emotionally and publicly. By initially refusing to write the book, she's created a narrative where any eventual memoir would appear to come from reluctant honesty rather than vindictive revenge. Publishers recognize that readers are far more likely to believe and sympathize with someone who appears to be reluctantly sharing painful truths than someone who seems eager to cash in on former friendships. This positioning could ultimately make her book even more commercially successful if she eventually decides to write it. Meanwhile, Meghan's alleged panic continues to intensify precisely because she can't determine Jessica's true intentions. Sources claim that Meghan's legal team has advised her that there's virtually nothing they can do to prevent Jessica from writing a book if she chooses to do so. This powerlessness is reportedly driving Meghan to distraction, as she's forced to simply wait and wonder whether Jessica will eventually accept one of these massive offers. One insider suggested that Meghan feels like she's living under a sword of Damocles, never knowing when it might fall. The psychological warfare aspect of this situation cannot be ignored. According to relationship experts who have followed the saga, Jessica's public denial, followed by continued publisher interest, creates maximum anxiety for Meghan while maintaining Jessica's leverage and public image. Whether this is intentional or coincidental, the effect is reportedly devastating for Meghan's peace of mind. She allegedly can't move forward with confidence because she doesn't know whether Jessica's denial is genuine or strategic. Perhaps most telling is how this situation reflects the broader power dynamics that may have contributed to their friendship's collapse in the first place. Sources suggest that for years, Meghan held all the power in their relationship, with Jessica providing support and loyalty while receiving relatively little public acknowledgement in return. Now the tables have completely turned, with Jessica holding information that could potentially damage everything Meghan has worked to build since leaving royal life. The ultimate resolution of this standoff could set precedents for how celebrity friendships and their aftermath are handled in the social media age. If Jessica eventually accepts a publisher's offer, it could open the floodgates for other former friends and associates to monetize their relationships with public figures. If her denial proves genuine, it might demonstrate that some loyalties can't be bought, regardless of the price tag. Whatever Jessica's true intentions, one thing is certain: she currently holds more power over Meghan's future than anyone else in the world. And whether she chooses to use that power or continue protecting her former friends' secrets, the decision will ultimately be hers alone to make. The question that has everyone from publishers to palace insiders holding their breath is simple: what will Jessica Mulroney ultimately decide is worth more, her silence or her story?